Sup everyone, we're back at the More Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It's time for us to get back into the swing of things. Let's get to it, shall we? Everyone is very concerned. Except this dude who's asleep. And now he isn't. You've got a nerve, lad. Standing up there dragging the yard's name through the mud. I didn't mean to. I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room work out there. How dare you call her a criminal? My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End tonight. Exclamation mark. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once. A grave problem? Yes, I'm talking about the graves inside of the museum. Oh my word! Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger? What? Certainly, if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must have also contained a body. And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman. Well, that's true. If my argument is that there were two bird cages, and there must have also been one person inside each. But I don't know if I've got an answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? I think evidence is probably the name of the game here. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asman's body double. Good gracious, evidence! I do hope this isn't filibustering, counsel. The court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now. The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witness would have only seen them from 60 feet away. So, who was it that appeared out of the explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... Let's see.
Take that!
So this? We know that the victim, Mr. Asman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage. And therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower. Yes, counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events. And that body double inside the second birdcage was in fact... Oh shit, I messed up, didn't I? It's alright, Mr. Naruhodo. You're ready for this. Just steel yourself, and come out with it. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. I needed that. Oh, but did I actually get it right? As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was... As unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there. When the hell was this even brought in? No, I legit don't remember this being here. Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend. Blink. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. The pathetic slap, yeah! A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicting the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime. And now you've moved on to indicting Waxworks. Yes, that's about the size of it. But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give? If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber. What? Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tuspel's. Did you say abducted? And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. Then the timing. Is this true, Mr. Drebber? At first I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Asman.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner, on a public stage in front of a vast audience. Oh boy. And that, to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really going to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide? You decide.
Objection!
Next time on Epic Rap Battles of History. Wait. Yes, if you put it like that, of course, it sounds implausible. My lord, I need to speak, if you please. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. And here we go. Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty!
Kill me!
She has a freaking corn cob. Guilty. Guilty. I don't know. I gotta tweak my voices. So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. I knew that was gonna happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I'm gonna have to appeal to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds. The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Oh, I like how we didn't even have to ask it. He just instantly was like, okay, let's just get this over with. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged. Alrighty. Judicial findings. Here we go. I've known that woman for years. She'd never been accomplice to anything. Wow, why are we starting at number 6? It's utter nonsense to think that those two would ever be conniving with one another. Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, is it? I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much. I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the cage. It's conjecture. Accusing someone without right evidences He's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it. That was weird. We went 6 and then 1 and then went down the line. Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinion. Given that its face is obscured, and its build in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asmund's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening, and yes, I know it seems extraordinary. But that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used, why it had to be this model. Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, and I'm convinced. It's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. Well, if that's the case, we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs. I gotta yawn. Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this. If you are ready, Counsel, you may proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Here we go, Chief. Jury examination. Summation examination. The defense's rebuttal. Alright. Press. The order of things seems to have changed around here for some reason.
I'm a copper, lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometimes when needs must. What's wrong with that?
Well, where do I start? I've been working at the yard for 40-odd years. That's even more than I thought. We've only had a metropolitan police force in town for 70 years, you know. Of course, times have changed. The public didn't trust coppers back when I started. It was rough. We had to fight crime, and we had to fight to win the public's trust as well. And when we did, forensic science was in its infancy too, even more than it is now, and she spearheaded the revolution. Dr. Scythe, you mean? Aye, that's right. About 10 years ago now it was, when I was still a youngish bobby on the beat. That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner. And now look at her, head of the forensics investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you won't hear me complain. It's what we all dreamt of back then, I tell you. Could you tell me without holding that gun in the air? We were all out to uphold justice, lad. Full of vim we were, full of vim and vigour. That's coming across loud and clear. Alright, onwards to number 1.
Hold it!
But we're only just starting to understand this case. What are you reading there, sir? The man behind those murders at Solar Pond Street was caught in 2 days flat. That's real policing for you. That's really not relevant to this case, is it? You're on there. Because it was Dr. Scythe in charge of examining the bodies. And it was evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible. Oh. That's right. Oh, that woman is at the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of old tosh. I thought it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around. Oh boy.
Hold it!
Boom, 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 boom. Why would you assume that? Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler has no relation with the woman, does she? True, as it stands we don't know of any connection. Oh gosh, but it would be so delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in the waxwork. Romantic? A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know. Oh, well, you'll learn something new every day. Even if you don't want to. One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor just there. Oh shit. Yo, I'm up for that. This woman may be more astute than I've been given her credit for. I can't believe that juror number 2 is a Fujoshi. If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Scythe would be enough. Yes, I agree. As soon as we've even a whiff of a connection, she'll be the first to know. Sniff. Bum 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 bum. What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, on the like. But the police use an excuse to make our lives more difficult. Yo, that's some nice gun spinning you're doing. Careful not to blow anyone with it.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermole? Who are you calling a mass murderer? Sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him. I don't look anything like the man. You want to be locked up, sonny? Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Classic Sholmes, doing his Sholmesy thing. Sholmesy Sholmes boy. Perhaps we can move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do. I don't spin this gun unless I got a reason. Back in my day, back in the good old days. It wasn't like this. Oh, what was it like, sir? We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then. Respected you? No one would have called a coroner into question in them days. A coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. She was the best of the best.
Hold it.
And the apple... Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens? Really? Courtney Stevens? You know, the one that did this. And let's see, where's the one for this thing? Oh wait, Courtney Scythe. They have the same first name, but not the same last name. Ah, sorry. Got a bit carried away there. Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name. Oh. Her maiden name? So that was before she was married. Enoch Drebber. Courtney. Actually, that could be a connection. Of course, yes, silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it? Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing, not like now. Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name? Well, yes, I don't see why not. Alrighty. She was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her. Of course, a legendary coroner even then. Okay.
Hold it.
Okay, let's go through this regularly. Sometimes they even cook up a story to extort monies from the poor. Well, that's definitely not right. Yes, and is why I say that if you trust the police, you will have trouble. But here you are, claiming this waxwork model was stolen to star in an illusionary spectacle. The idea is so wild, I think I will take my chances and believe the authorities on this occasion. I'm trying to make a unique voice for this guy. This is how the public at large view Scotland Yard, is it? Our own police force in Tokyo is not even 20 years old yet, is it? Perhaps we should view what's happening here in London as a measure of what may happen at home. Yes, like a Scotland yardstick. I wonder what a policeman would feel listening to the way the juror speaks about the force. I'm sure he'd have a word or two to say in response. Alright. Sorry, getting a sip of water. But you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick.
Thought I did, but there's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
Ugh. This voice takes it out of me. Sorry?
I grant you.
I'm gonna have to change this dude's voice. I can't do that for long periods of time.
I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there'd have been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how many criminals are governed by decency.
The point is, if we're gonna make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's not just science. It's just not science.
I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. But that perhaps means his mind could be changed if we managed to present suitable evidence. Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I presume that or not?
Oh yeah, I can prove it. Actually,
I have something I'd like you to see.
Oh? Well, I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
But I'm not wearing black, I'm wearing blue. So you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. Do have some evidence that proves the waxwork was inside that birdcage, namely...
Take that!
Here we go.
What's that? A piece of glass. Though it's unusually thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket of the waxwork. As you say, it's not an ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
The Crystal Tower? Holy smoke!
Exactly. The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass.
From where the small piece originated, is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you're showing me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter.
In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement now, please. Oh, shoot. Presence of that leaves me in a little doubt that... Guess all we got is this.
Hold it!
Then we'll have to work out stuff from there.
I've gotta ask, why have you brought that corn into court with you? Colonel Cobb? He's been growing back on the farm. Picked him off on me way into town. He's a proper nibbler, he is. Yes, the nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe it can wait until after the trial? Oh,
I don't like the sound of that. I need kernels at times like these. Whenever I'm of something bigger to decide, the kernel always points me in the right direction, see?
You're talking about your cob of corn? Okay then. Yes, your point has been made. Your point's been made, child. Shut up! Shut up! Shut!
Perhaps it's akin to fortune telling of flower petals like people do back home.
So Professor Harebrain's fate is to be determined by a cob of corn?
Could you not at least wait until after we've had more time to find the truth before deciding on the defendant's guilt? Oh, I don't know about that. The time's awfully full already.
Amazing. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork model of the professor was in that birdcage. But on the other hand, it explains a lot. If there really is a reason why the particular waxwork had to be used as Mr. Asmon's double, we must do everything we can to make the jurors understand it. The truth is, I'm sure that that's the key to this, but it's the most puzzling part of it too. In that case, you should see what additional information you can glean whilst trying to change the juror's mind. If you can read a book whilst eating a rice cracker, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm sure you can do this.
Right. Yes.
Nothing to do with the coroner. I'm a bit lost, honestly. Usually I'm not like this. I am usually able to at least figure out one of them, but I am not having the best of luck here. Okay. I think those two would ever be conniving. Waxwork the man stole. I feel like the ones we gotta change are 1, 2, 4, and 6. Without... It's not a proper job, is he? Maybe... Actually, maybe 1 and 5? This is a shot in the dark.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5. Oh, you mean me? You've pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question. It is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you. Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument? I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb,
To be honest.
Of course you don't. If I could interject here.
Please do, sir.
Now that this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, it would be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue the matter further.
Thank you for at least being sensible. Oh, well, me too then. Sorry? If this brainy gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anything who's got stuff in between the ears. Well, I have no idea what frickin' voice to give that child. Zero idea. I say child, but I don't think they're actually a kid. Success! If you can call it that. Alright. Okay. I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork, on the other hand, explains a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's one we've taken care of. Now it's definitely related to juror number 6. Is it this?
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Goodness gracious, to whose statements you refer?
So, juror number 2. Oh gosh, me? Oh, what can I do for you? I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden's name of the coroner, the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before. Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But, oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean. Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it. My goodness, evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim.
Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer known as the Professor. Right here.
Take that!
Easy peasy. I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago.
A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have?
It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor. Oh, he got an exclamation mark. He is brought to attention.
The Professor's, but the man was a capital offender, so...
That's right. This is the certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens. Oh my, Courtney Stevens?
Strike a light!
It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Asman, at all. And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those two events? Absolutely, I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the Professor case is at the heart of a link that we have yet to uncover. Between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber. Well, shit, I can't ignore that. Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is almost extraordinary. We're surely obliged now to explore this further. Boop. And now we're even. It's your time to shine, man.
Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the yard's best coroner. It wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end. Off you go.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Thank you, counsel. That will do. As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now stand guilty, 4 against who call not guilty. Against 4 who call not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach consensus at this time. And the trial must continue. You fucking fools.
We did it.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory. We are godlike. What are you going to say? Objection? Nope. Really? Oh, I guess we gotta return first.
A waxwork of the despicable professor. Uses a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case.
I must say it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant a further investigation. Time for day 3 of investigating already.
If the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe... Oh, it's... And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link.
I don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad. I really don't.
The truth, sir. By using evidence and testimony, facts and logic, you will all get owned.
If the court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness.
Ah.
The owner? Madame Tusples.
I wasn't expecting her. I really thought that Lord Von Zykes would object to this whole line of inquiry. I guess he wants the truth, considering, you know, it's Hairbrain that's on trial.
Very well, I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Tusples to appear as a witness with immediate effect. Listen carefully, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes?
You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box.
Oh, really? You think that's really stopped us when we had a Pandora's musical box in the last game?
The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon the new witness and prepare her for taking the stand. Madame Tusples, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord. Alongside my master assistant.
Alright. To be continued. God damn. We gotta... I think we're gotta be reaching... We're probably reaching the end of the... Well, the final stretch of the journey here on this trial, I would think. We're only at 37 minutes, so let's get into this a bit. Are we gonna go to the recess? Yeah, here we go. Okay, we can go to the end of the recess.
Ah, the knight-errant himself.
Oh, have you been watching from the gallery, Mr. Sholmes?
I've been on the edge of my seat the entire time. I almost fell down and ended up joining you on the ground level. Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least.
I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself. Ah, the professor. I have to ask.
What on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What's this professor business all about? He doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he?
Ah, of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago.
Yes, the professor. When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. But who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies.
As it turns out, Lord Von Zykes is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realize, isn't he? Yes, how true. His great friend from university in the dock.
And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine even the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man.
You make it sound deliberate. I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling. Sorry, I had to let in the cat that was vigorously scratching at the door.
Oh yes? What type of cat?
That's not what we're talking about anymore.
Oh, in what particular manner?
Well, there's Mr. Drebber, Dr. Scythe, and Lord Von Zykes. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow.
Yes. In fact, I alone am not a member of the set.
Though that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other. Excuse me. Oh, who? Oh, it's you.
Dr. Scythe. Oh, she's gonna be pissed. Dr. Courtney Scythe. Nay Stevens. Good day to you. Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you. What in particular, pray? You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you? Why would you assume such a thing? Because Gregson told me. Well, shit, I've been found out. To think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory wielding my scalpel. I smell of nothing but corpses and disinfectant. Policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you as it happens, Dr. Scythe. And I've accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened. That certainly won't be possible. Lord Von Zykes won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Stronhart has forbidden it. Lord Stronhart? The Pandora's box you were warned about is the professor case. But please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me. But attempting to hide it from the truth, that's cowardice. I've always fought crime in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets, none at all. And that's all I came here to say. So, good day to you. And there she goes. Damn. She mentioned it too. It's Pandora's box. Whatever does it all mean? There's really no cause for concern, I assure you, when the trial resumes. The meaning will become all too apparent, whether you like it to or not. Huh? Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must make my way back to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits. I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much. Ah yes, one word of warning before I go. If, in the course of this trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever may come to pass. Damn, you actually sound kind of cool for once. Alright, I understand. Thank you. Good, I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of caramel earlier, so I shall be gnawing on that as you gnaw away the truth, and as that Joe number 5 is gnawing at the corn of cob. Adios. Ciao, matane. What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially the bit about whatever may come to pass. Who knows? It's time for you to go back into court. It's time for the final chapter as well, then. I'm determined to find the truth. No matter what. Next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, matane.